Warm greetings to the viewers. Our project is titled as E-Authentication using QR code and OTP. My team members are myself, Yuvan Bharati, Kamalesh Kumar, and Lekha Shivani. Even before this COVID-19 crisis, this world was evolving into an internet-oriented place. After COVID-19 struck human beings, the usage of internet has drastically increased. One major threat faced by any internet user is security over their account in any particular website or application. There is a huge possibility of their account credentials being stolen and used for the perpetrator's well-being. Our project gives an additional layer of security to the user. A unique one-time password, that is OTP, is sent to the user's registered mail ID or is encrypted and displayed in the form of a QR code. After entering the correct OTP, the user is verified to enter the page. To start with, I'll be showing you the front-end coding part. We use ASP.NET as the framework for designing front-end web pages. It was developed by Microsoft, especially to make the designing of dynamic web pages easier. These four ASP.NET files, namely eauthentication.aspx, register.aspx, verification.aspx, success.aspx. These are the four files that we'll be using as our front-end web pages throughout the project. eauthentication.aspx will be the main page that will be displayed after running our code. So it displays a small welcome message like welcome to the e-authentication project, and it says login page, and it gives two sections for entering the username, password, and also a login button for clicking after entering the username and password. From this page, our project can also redirect to the registering page in case if the user is new to this page. So this is the registering UI, where it displays a message like user registration and some sections for entering the username, password, email, and phone number, which are some required credentials will be given, and a button for clicking after entering all these credentials will be also given. If the user was a already existing user, from here they can also be redirected to the main page again, which is this one. So let's see the verification page after the user clicks the login button. So it displays a message like verify your identity, and it asks you to enter the OTP received on your phone or email or scan the QR code. So there will be a section for entering the OTP, and there will be a verify button after entering the OTP. There will also be an image which will be displayed. That image will be a QR code in which the OTP will be encrypted. So the user can scan the QR code and get the OTP. So once the OTP is verified, the user will be redirected to the success page, where it displays a small authentication message like welcome to the e-authentication tutorial. You have been successfully verified. So we have used a local database, which I'll be showing you as time progresses. And for accessing that local database, we have written some SQL query commands. So these are the commands which we will be using in our backend codes. So let's close it for now. So now I'll be showing you the backend codes. So this is the backend code for the main page. These are the libraries we'll be using. And this function is for loading the page. And once the user clicks on the login button, so the program enters into this section. First, it checks with whether the username and password are not empty. If they are not empty, the next possible cases will be checked here. So if the password and username doesn't match or they don't exist, it would say username is wrong or password is wrong. Else, if the password and username matches, the web page will be redirected to the verification page. If either the username or the password section is empty, a message like username should not be empty or password should not be empty will be displayed. This function is for generating a random OTP using the available characters, capital letters, small letters, and numbers. This function is for generating a QR code based on the OTP generated in the previous function. Send mail function is for sending the OTP which was generated in the previous function to the user's mail ID. So now I'll be showing you the registration backend code. So these are the libraries which we'll be using here. This is a function for loading the page. And once the user clicks the register button, the program enters into this function. So in a similar way, it checks the emptiness of all the sections like username, password, email, and phone number. If they are not empty, then other possible cases will be checked. If all the credentials are new, then the message will be displayed like user registration is successful. Else, if the username is already in the database, username is already taken, this message will be displayed in the web page. Or if the phone number is already registered, the corresponding message like phone number is already registered will be displayed. Similar case for the email ID also. Same as the login page, if the fields are empty, the required fields are empty message will be displayed. So next I'll be showing you the verification backend code. So these are the libraries we'll be using here. And this is where the randomly generated OTP. So basically the randomly generated OTP will be stored in the database along with the username which was entered during the login process. So the OTP will be fetched here from the database to check whether the OTP entered by the user and the OTP stored in the database are same. So if the OTP matches, then the website will be redirected to the success page. Else a small alert message like user identity cannot be verified will be displayed. So I'll be showing success page now. So there is not much coding in the success page, as it's just a page to show that we have authenticated successfully. So now let's demonstrate this project. So this is how the front end page looks. So there is a provision for entering the username, password, and login button, and for redirecting to the registration page. So first, let's try out the registration process. Let's assume that we are a new user. So when all the fields are empty and register is clicked, it says required fields are empty. So now let's enter a new username. And give a common password like pwd123. And give an email like user2 at mail.com. and an imaginary phone number. So when I click on register, it says user registration successful. So now let's check our database. So as you can see, the credentials that we entered in the registration page have been stored in the database which we have created. So let's see what happens when we enter this user example username and try to register. It's already the user example. So it says username is already taken. So for example, let's try the email example@mail.com. Change the phone numbers. Okay. Example@mail.com. So all the credentials are new except the mail ID. Now let's see what happens. It says email is already registered. So now let's try the phone number 12345678990. So, yeah. So all the credentials, okay, the email should be new. So, so all the credentials are new except the phone number. Now let's see what happens. It says phone number is already registered. So this is how the registration process is done. So now let's try a login case. Let's jump back to the main page. So for the example case, we'll take the second row, which is U1, password is 19BC1227, and the mail ID I have it in my browser store. Yeah. So let's send it. And password is BEC1227. Okay, now I click on login. Okay, so it redirects you to the verification page. Now let's check our mail ID. So as you can see, we have received a mail regarding our OTP. So we have received a 5-digit OTP. We'll copy this. And okay, before pasting it, let's enter a wrong OTP and see what happens. ABCD4. It says user identity cannot be verified. So now let's enter the correct OTP. Just this one. If you click on verify, it will be redirected to the success page. Now you can check by scanning the QR code, you will be getting the same OTP which you received in the mail ID. You can use any common scanners like Google Lens, which will be available in everyone's mobile, and you can scan it right now and check for the OTP. So now I'm clicking on the verify button. So it redirects us to the success page where it gives a small message like you have been successfully verified. So that is all about our project. Thank you.